Gold, highly sought after and coveted, and the Bank of England is no exception as they guard their gold very carefully. It is deep underground, and there's a lot of bars there. I'll tell you how many and how much gold they actually own in this video as we explore. If you were to visit the Bank of England, there is a very, very slim chance, unless you are highly influential, that you will actually see any of the gold in the vaults. But more than likely, you could see all of the gold that they own, though, if you go to the right place. I'll tell you about that later in the video. But first, let's go through some of the facts about the Bank of England's gold vaults, because it is quite intriguing. Some of you may remember there was a channel a number of years ago that had a very popular video where they visited the Bank of England's gold vaults. It was the Periodic Elements channel. I forget the exact name of the channel. Let's see if I can look it up here. But it is a channel that talks about science and elements, and they do exposés on the different elements on the periodic table. But I forget the name. It is Periodic something. I think it's Periodic Videos now that I'm thinking about it. Periodic Videos. And I think their most popular video is the visit to the, or one of their most popular videos is the visit to the gold vaults there in London, which is quite intriguing. It does give you an idea and representation of how much gold is there and how open that they were to a media outlet such as Periodic Videos, but there's been others that have visited as well too. However, here in the United States, well, we don't have that kind of transparency, and we even saw Russia's gold vaults as well too. I did a video on that you could see Russia's gold vaults. But the Bank of England is probably the most famous showcasing those gold bars. So what is it? What is in this gold vault? Well, there's 400,000 plus gold bars stored deep underground in the Bank of England, and in that underground vault, in that underground space, there are 9 total vaults where these gold bars are stored. Of course, these are just 1 ounce gold coins. I don't have an example, I'm sorry, of a gold bar that would be shown there, because it's 400 ounces for one of those bars. In fact, I only know of one other person in this community that has 400 ounces of gold total, and it's certainly not in one of these bars. That's for darn sure, but it's pretty remarkable, pretty amazing. And you cannot buy gold directly from the Bank of England, by the way. You haven't been able to do that since the 1930s, but then and before, you could exchange banknotes for the equivalent value in gold at the Bank of England. So who actually owns the gold at the Bank of England? It's not the Bank of England. And really, that probably doesn't surprise many of us. And that is the case also with the United States. However, the United States stores gold for other countries, just as the Bank of England does. But the central bank in the Fort Knox there on the Treasury is directly under the Treasury here in the United States that stores the United States gold, all 8,100 tons of it, if you believe it's there. But in the United Kingdom, it's a little different story. The storage of the gold there is based off of His Majesty's Treasury, or Her Majesty's Treasury before the Queen died. So it's the Treasury of the United Kingdom. But they also store gold bars on behalf of other central banks and certain commercial firms. Yeah, that's a little bit of a surprise. Some commercial firms have gold stored there. So why does the Bank of England store gold? Well, it's an important asset of foreign exchange reserves, we know. By providing safe gold custody, they are supporting central bank reserve management and thus international financial stability, according to the Bank of England's website. London is the global center for gold trading. They support financial stability by providing central banks with access to the liquidity of the London gold market. We provide gold accounts to certain commercial firms that facilitate access for commercial banks to the London gold market. Gold that is held there on behalf of customers does not appear on their balance sheet. This is because they provide gold storage on an allocated basis, meaning that the customer retains the title to specific gold bars in our vaults rather than a claim on the bank for a certain weight of gold. And so sometimes these gold bars are certainly marked and they stay exactly where they are on those shelves, but they essentially are just marked as a new owner of that specific gold bar with a specific serial number. And the LBMA is the agency that most of us are familiar there to that. And there's access to the bank accounts, to the gold accounts through the LBMA. And that's where a lot of central banks buy and sell gold. And that's probably one reason why the London gold vaults are really seen. You can see them on videos on YouTube everywhere. But not the United States. The United States does hold gold for other countries, but it's much more locked down and much more secret, which is why many people question the veracity of the gold being held there. But it's pretty remarkable. So what does this mean? How much gold does the Bank of England own? Not very much, as it turns out. In fact, they don't own any gold coins, such as you see here, but they do own gold bars. Yes, indeed. The actual Bank of England does own gold bars. In fact, specifically, 2 of them. 2 gold bars they hold. Not of equal size either. That's right, not of equal size. They own 2 gold bars and very specific bars. They have one 400-ounce gold bar that is made by Pamp Suisse, which is the same manufacturer of these 200-gram bars. And so, as you can imagine, they have these in their museum where you can actually see all of the gold the Bank of England owns if you go to their museum. So that is kind of fascinating, an interesting thing to know that if you want to see all of the gold that the Bank of England owns, you can go see it at their museum and you can actually lift it up. Now, I can lift this bar up pretty easily because it's only 100 grams. They also own another gold bar that is much smaller, a gold bar that actually is attainable to some if you so desire, and that is the Pamp Suisse 1 kilo gold bar, which is 10 times larger than this Pamp Suisse 100-gram bar. So there is a connection, and these are much more obviously attainable for the general public, as I have too, but I had to cash out my IRA to make these things happen. But nonetheless, to own gold on this scale gives you at least a fraction of what the Bank of England owns. So that's kind of remarkable to see. See, the bank works for the Treasury, and under the United States system, if I'm not mistaken, some may correct me if I'm wrong, but the Fort Knox is underneath the auspices of the Treasury and the United States Mint. And so therefore, it is directly owned there. And so the Federal Reserve doesn't actually own any gold either. And I think that's probably likewise in many other countries, probably around the world. But you think about all the gold that's in the world, and about central banks hold about 30% of all the gold that's ever been mined are owned by central banks, which is actually a pretty good chunk, and it has an effect on the markets, as I've demonstrated in a past video. But there you go. So it's fascinating to see how that works, and the astonishing, pretty shocking amount of gold held. That's 400 ounces in one, and then 1 kilo in another. That's 432.15 ounces of gold owned by the Central Bank of England. So there you have it. And I remember seeing some gold that was probably held at West Point that was going to be used for the minting of the 2009 ultra high relief gold coins by the United States Mint. And seeing those bars, they were 400-ounce bars. Those 400-ounce bars, by the way, have to be at least 995 purity, or above, and they have to go through an ultrasonic test that they perform on each bar that does come through, which does not happen very often. And they scan that bar for purity. If it's rejected, it goes back to the refiner. If it's accepted, it becomes then a London bullion market good delivery bar. Yes, indeed. They saw gold and they saw that it was good. That's exactly what happened there. So there you go. Let me know what your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.